gamers! The following video is jam-packed with top-tier content! If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss an upload!
What's up, boys? Today I'm going to teach you a few things about 1v1s and how you guys can be absolutely insane at them. Also, make sure you watch the entire video because I hit a picture somewhere in the video, and if you say what it is in the comments, I'll pin your comment and I'll sub to you guys back. Enjoy the video. The 1v1 start is probably one of the most important things to do in 1v1s. I do infinite 90s, 690s usually, and there is like no other start that can beat that in the game. It's literally impossible to beat. Got a little pre-fire right there. Also, what I love to do, and this helps so much in wagers and stuff like that, is when you don't have an angle on your opponent with a pump, you can get shots off with an SMG. Like, just spray a few shots like that, see like that, and then just keep 90ing. Things like that are going to give you, like, a huge advantage in game. If you can tear down, like, 50 of his shield per fight, just shooting an SMG like this, it's going to help you so much. Just easy picks with the SMG is super important. Another thing, like, a lot of people don't like a playstyle where you spray or knock down like that, but I do understand it when it comes to normal 1v1s or 1v1s where you're just playing for fun. Like, you don't want to be knocking down and spraying. That's kind of, you know, an asshole move. But when you're playing a 1v1 seriously, or you're playing a wager or anything like that where your goal is to actually win, these strats are for you completely. Like, you should not be doing anything else but these, especially if you're not an insane mechanical player. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, he's just getting low ground. You want to go for a lot of pre-fire shots and you kind of just want to pick your opponent off. That's kind of the playstyle I have. And the only people I'm down against is Sway, and I'm tied with Physics. Everyone else I've beaten using these strategies. Just tear your opponent down. There's no point in trying to go for a 200. You're just gonna 50-50, and there's just no point in doing that. Right here, shoot him down. He's hung up by 1. It's just easy shots. Perfect. Again, the 690 start, super quick. If you guys don't know how to do infinite 90s, and you want to learn that, I have a separate video on how to do infinite 90s. That right there is super good too. Another thing I want to get into actually is the knockdown strat. So let's say he gets high on me, right? Zito, by the way, I'm playing a guy named Zito. He is a very good player. Like, these strats work against anybody, and I promise you that. So let's say he is high ground, and I want to, you know, get high ground. The only people I've ever met that don't need to break down and their retakes are so protective that you can't hit them is Sway. Sway's retakes are so protective. You literally can't even hit them. But usually, most people can't do that. Most people, they can do retakes, but they can't do it protectively. They kind of just... Oh my goodness, that was a good edit on him. Couldn't build there. But my point about knocking down is it's a lot safer than doing retakes. Retakes are super flashy and they're super cool when you're going for clips and stuff. But when your objective is to just win, there's no point in doing retakes. You may as well just have a really protective knockdown. I'll show you how to do a protective knockdown. It's really not hard at all. You just need to be aware of what you're doing. Here, I'll give him height right here so I can show you guys. Yo, Zito, take height, take height. A little too risky to just do a retake, especially if, you know, you're not good at them. Retakes are they can be super effective, but they also put you in a vulnerable spot. I mean, my favorite retake is just simple 90s. They're super fast, they're simple. Basically, I'm trying to teach you guys the fundamentals of 1v1s and how to get good at them without being flashy and crazy. So, again, my bad. Let me give him height right here. He's gonna... I'm just trying to give him height, but he's just not understanding. So, perfect, right here. He has height. Some of these roofs are his, so you have to be aware of which roofs are his, because that's like, he can just edit down on you and kill you. Obviously, that happens to me all the time, or it used to, until I learned how to get rid of it. So basically, people are gonna try to shoot your builds and just kind of W key you. You just want to make sure, you just do it slowly, be patient. See, like, you just gotta be patient with it. And I know it's kind of playing like a loser, but at the same time, like, it's how you win, you know? So, obviously Zito's a very smart player. He's not gonna, like, fall for things like that. And he knows who, you know, he knows me, and he, you know, won't fall for that. But he's, it'll work on everybody. Those protective knockdowns like that are literally impossible to counter. But again, just go for a pick. Don't try to get in his face. Just keep hitting him for 50, 80, like stuff like that, and you'll have the advantage every time, especially if you're on high ground. Just keep going for picks, like shoot through that, you know, just things like that. Just don't try to get into anyone's box. Only time you should try to get into someone's box is if you know that player you're fighting is way better than you in every single way at 1v1s. And, like, you just have to 50-50 him to possibly win. That's the only time I would ever say to get into somebody's box. I think the most important thing, and the one thing I will say, is that when you have high ground, you are at an insane advantage. And that should be kind of your goal. You should always go for high ground, always try to keep high ground, because you're on an insane advantage with high ground every time. And I think the main way that people die is when they're, you know, trying to get high ground from low ground or something like that, and they're doing retakes and stuff. So what I would do is always try to go for high ground, and when you are going for high ground, be very protective, like what he's doing right now. Like, he's doing it pretty well. He could be doing it better. Oh, if I didn't place that stair there by accident. But like I said, the protective knockdowns are probably the best thing you can do to try to get high ground. Don't just knock down too. You have to make sure you're not getting hit, because you're vulnerable while knocking down. Like, you're probably as vulnerable as retakes when you're knocking down. You just have to make sure you do it the right way. Also, don't be afraid to use your SMG more. Like, things like that. Like, if I were to use my pump there, I probably would have died, because we would have hit each other for both 100, and he could have just whipped out his SMG and finished me off. Like, it would have been... Don't be afraid to just spray your SMG. Honestly, like, if you want to win, don't worry about what, you know, people are saying you're playing like an asshole. If you're playing to win, you're playing a wager for money, nothing's off limits. You do whatever you can to win. That's just how it is. And anyone can do it, you just have to practice it. It's not as easy as people think, but it's also, you know, not super hard. Anyone can do it with enough practice. This is a nice little knockdown I like to do too, but again, this guy's very good. It's hard to do things against this guy. Also, things like that, waiting for an edit. Just little things like that you'll pick up on when you play a lot of 1v1s. Another thing I will say one of the most important things you can do, and this is how I got better at wagers and 1v1s personally, is I played thousands of different players. So you start to pick up on what a lot of people are gonna do, and you know what different players do and different play styles. You learn a lot of things by playing a lot of players, and that's how I went from going, you know, 300 wins, 50 losses a month to like 500 wins, 0 losses, 500 wins, maybe 1 loss here and there. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna end it here. Those are little, you know, a few tips and tricks on how you can get better at 1v1s. But for the most part, honestly, man, it's practice, playing a lot of people, and these are just a few tips that can, you know, help you guys practice. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys later.